Welcome to Weekly News Highlights. The Kuwait Chamber of Commerce and Industry held the Qatar-Kuwait Business Forum on the sidelines of the opening of the Made in Qatar exhibition headed by the President of the Qatar Chamber, Sheikh Khalifa bin Jassim II. This forum aims to enhance cooperation relations between the business sectors of the two countries and stimulate mutual investments. More with our reporter, Hadil Fahed.
The Kuwait Chamber of Commerce and Industry established a Qatari-Kuwaiti Business Forum in a joint organization with the Qatar Chamber in the hall of the Kuwait Foundation for the Advancement of Sciences at the Chamber's building. The forum brings together high-ranking Qatari business owners, including more than 70 members working in several vital sectors, such as health, energy sources, education, equipment, oil tools, logistics, tourism, hotel glasses, and aluminum industry. The program included presenting working papers by several loyal officials from the Kuwaiti and Qatari side through two dialogue sessions. They first discussed the investment climate and opportunities for joint investment cooperation, and the second discussed opportunities for cooperation in the industrial sector and renewable energy sources. This forum will be held in conjunction with the exhibition Made in Qatar, which will be held under the patronage of His Highness the Prime Minister Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid, in the presence of the Minister of Commerce and Industry Khalid Al Rodan representing His Highness, and the Minister of Trade and Industry of Qatar Ali Al Kawari, whereas 220 Qatari companies represent 5 industrial sectors. It will be held from February 19 to 22, 2020 at Kuwait International Fair. This exhibition is expected to open the way for Kuwaiti companies to build new partnerships with their counterparts from Qatar.
On the occasion of Kuwait's national celebrations, the Kuwait Oil Company organized a national festival at El Shahid Park in coordination with the Martyrs Office. The event came within the framework of the company's commitment to share the joys of the community on this occasion. Hiba Abdurrahman has the details in the following report.
Coinciding with the national celebrations, the Martyrs Office organized a number of activities at the Shahid Park as part of the festival We Are For Here. The festival is organized under the patronage of His Highness Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid Al Hamid Al Sabah, the Prime Minister.
We have event today for February, Kuwait, from Maktab Al Shahid, for anybody to know what Kuwait Shahid. We have show in the other room, okay, and we have cinema on the other side also.
The event included a number of activities such as a mural for the Martyrs of Kuwait, a documentary for the Martyrs of Kuwait produced by the KOC, performances for the audience, some activities dedicated for the children and their families, in addition to the operetta We Are For Here. The main goal of the Martyrs Office is achieving leadership at the regional level in humanitarian work and achieving the highest levels of automation in all office operations and achieving performance excellence while raising the efficiency of intercommunication within and outside the office with workers, owners and beneficiaries, in addition to obtaining administrative, technical, regional and international qualifications that achieve the leadership office.
European Union leaders said that a renewed military offensive by the Syrian regime in Idlib was unacceptable and called on all parties to cease hostilities immediately. In a statement, the European Council urged all parties involved to fully respect their obligations under international law and to allow direct humanitarian access to all those in need. The bloc also reiterated its call on all parties to put in place a sustainable ceasefire that would guarantee the protection of civilians. The The ceasefire talks between Libya's warring parties fighting over the capital Tripoli continued after resuming in the previous day. UN Libya envoy Hassan Salami said that talks began last Tuesday in Geneva between the internationally recognized Tripoli government and its main rivals, the eastern-based Libyan National Army, or the LNA, which has been trying to take the capital. Meanwhile, Libya's eastern military commander Khalifa Haftar said that he would be ready for a ceasefire if Turkish and Syrian mercenaries left the country and Ankara stopped supplying weapons to Libya's internationally recognized government in Tripoli. A European Union summit ended abruptly after leaders failed to reach agreements on the bloc's long-term budget following a two-day standoff between poorer countries and frugal member states seeking to rein in spending. Summit Chairman Charles Michel gathered the 27 national EU leaders together at the end of the day to bridge divisions, but rival camps rejected his compromise plan. Setting the 7-year budget is always a tug of war, but it is fiercer than ever this time because Britain's exit from the EU last month has left a €75 billion gap at a time of costly new challenges from climate change to migration. Michel's proposal would have capped joint spending at 1.069% of the continent's economic output, but this was immediately rejected when he brought the leaders around the table to put it to them. Afghan President Ashraf Ghani welcomed a 7-day period of reduced violence in Afghanistan, calling it an essential step towards a ceasefire and lasting peace in the country. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and the Taliban said the U.S. and the Taliban will sign an agreement at the end of a week-long period of violence reduction in Afghanistan. The agreement could represent a chance for peace after 18 years of war and a U.S. troop presence that dates back to 2001, as well as boosting U.S. President Donald Trump's hopes of pulling U.S. forces out of Afghanistan. State of Kuwait's commitment to aid all societies experiencing tough situations through financial and other means of support to alleviate them from further suffering is duly noted on a weekly basis. Local organizations like the Kuwait Relief Society and Kuwait Red Crescent Society are amongst the most active in this field of humanitarian works, as they take action in aiding a number of refugee groups in the region and respond to the natural catastrophe that hit Albania in recent months. Kuwait Relief Society took a major step in their continuous efforts by donating $1.33 million for refugees in Yemen and Iraq through a first-of-its-kind agreement with the UNCHR. The Relief Society also sent an urgent aid convoy to the recent settled refugees in northern Syria, containing 27 trucks loaded with winter equipment and food supplies, which took off from Turkey's southern province, Hatay. The convoy was managed by Atta Society office in Turkey and head of the KRC office in Syria, Walid El-Swailem, along with others in helping transport and distribute the supplies in Syria as part of an agreement to build a school that will provide education for 480 students of the refugees in the area. Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan said he will meet Russian, German, and French counterparts on March the 5th to discuss the situation in Syria's Idlib region, where a recent push by government forces has displaced nearly 1 million people. The announcement comes a day after France and Germany called for a 4-party summit involving the Turkish and Russian leaders, and following a phone call between President Erdogan and Russian President Vladimir Putin, and teleconference with French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Earlier, the German and French leaders expressed concern about the humanitarian situation in Idlib and urged an end to the conflict, while the Kremlin said it was discussing the possibility of holding a four-way summit. Voting officially ended in Iran's parliamentary election after it was extended several times to allow latecomers to cast ballots. Majority voters and Iran's leader are likely to sweep the election as the country faces mounting U.S. pressure over its nuclear program and growing discontent at home. The Iranian Interior Ministry said that about 11 million of 58 million eligible voters had voted for candidates in the 290-member parliament, and the turnout would be announced on state television. Former rebel leader Riek Machar was sworn in as South Sudan's first vice president as part of a unity government with his former adversary President Salva Kiir, a tentative step towards peace after years of civil war ravaged the oil-rich yet impoverished nation. Kiir expressed optimism at the ceremony despite huge challenges. Former fighters have still not been integrated into a single security force. More than half of South Sudan's citizens depend on food aid, and extreme corruption is rampant. It was unclear until Thursday, when the two men issued a statement, whether the unity government would even be formed this week. Benchmarks laid out in the peace agreement have not been met, with the government blaming a shortage of funds for being unable to disarm, retrain, and integrate former combatants. 3 other vice presidents ranking below Machar were also sworn in at Saturday's ceremony. The cabinet was dissolved on Friday, but new appointments were not announced. Nine people were killed and dozens injured when an earthquake struck the southeastern Turkish province of Van. Aerial footage revealed damage to a village hit by the magnitude 5.7 quake near the border with Iran. Turkey's health ministry said 3 of those killed were children and 37 people were injured. The tremor caused more than 1,000 buildings to collapse, with damage some 90 kilometers to the west in the Turkish city of Van and to the east in dozens of villages in Iran. Meanwhile, Iranian state television said 75 people were injured, with no reported fatalities. South Korea's President Moon Jae-in said that the government will raise the country's disease alert by 1 notch to the highest level in a bid to contain a surge in new coronavirus cases. According to the Korea Centers for Disease and Control and Prevention, new coronavirus cases in the country jumped by 123 to 556, and the death toll rose to 5. Iran has confirmed 15 new cases of the new coronavirus, taking the total to 43, with a death toll of 8. Most of the infections have been in the city of Qom. Health Ministry said a merchant from Qom, who died of the virus, used to travel regularly to China. Flights were suspended between the two countries, but he used indirect flights. The ministry also urged people to avoid traveling to Qom, 75 miles south of Tehran. 8 of the new infections were in Qom, where authorities have closed schools and religious seminaries. In Tehran and some other cities, schools have been shut until Tuesday. In other moves against the virus, Turkey closed its border with Iran, and Afghanistan suspended air and road travel to and from the country. In the United States, Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders secured a victory in the state of Nevada's Democratic caucuses, tightening his grip on the front-runner spot in the race to find a challenger to President Donald Trump. 50% of the precincts declared that Sanders won 47% of the county convention delegates in Nevada, while Joe Biden came in second with 19%, ahead of Pete Buttigieg, who settled in third with 15%. The race will now begin to broaden across the U.S. ahead of the November 3rd election, with the next primary scheduled for Saturday in the state of South Carolina. The Ministry of Health announced today that preliminary tests conducted for passengers coming from the Iranian city of Mashhad resulted in 3 confirmed cases of the novel coronavirus known as COVID-19 in Kuwait. According to the statement, all 3 cases are under constant observation by the medical staff and the concerned authorities in Kuwait, and the Ministry of Health took necessary precautionary measures in accordance with scientific and standard recommendations and guidelines accepted by the World Health Organization. The Arab Coalition to Support Legitimacy in Yemen announced that it had foiled an imminent terrorist attack by the Houthis by using a booby-trapped remote-controlled boat. Moreover, the booby-trapped boat was damaged and destroyed by the coalition naval forces, pointing to a terrorist act that represents a threat to regional and international security, as well as maritime transport and global trade. Arab Coalition spokesperson Turki al-Maliki said that 3 marine mines were also discovered and destroyed during the past 24 hours in the Bab el-Mandeb Strait and the southern Red Sea, where the vital waterway for commercial navigation is a major transit point for commercial ships and oil tankers. The Iraqi official television reported that Deputy Speaker of the Iraqi Parliament, Hassan al-Kabi, that the session of the Council of Representatives to give confidence to the government of Mohammed Tawfiq Alawi will be held on Wednesday. Al-Kabi also told the channel that the Parliament Speaker and his 2 deputies will hold a meeting to discuss Alawi's government program and the biographies of its ministries today. Alawi has pledged to form a competent government beyond sectarian quotas and political parties. Palestinian Health Ministry said in a statement at least 4 Palestinians have been injured by Israeli air raids on the northern parts of the besieged Gaza Strip and were rushed to the El Shifa Medical Center. Palestinian News and Information Agency reported that the attacks, which also caused extensive material damage, constitute a new military escalation by the Israeli occupation forces and coincide with fears of renewing shelling by the Israeli artillery. The Israeli occupation army announced earlier that its defensive system, the Iron Dome, intercepted 10 missiles fired from the Strip. In 1756, the El Sabah family assumed the power to rule Kuwait, making Kuwait gain its independence on June 19, 1961, during the era of the late Emir of Kuwait, Sheikh Abdullah al-Salim al-Sabah, to end the Protectorate Treaty Kuwait signed with Britain in 1899. As the state of Kuwait celebrates its 59th Independence Day and the 29th Liberation Day, the country has approved its stability and power throughout all the past years. More in the following report by Dalal al-Hajri.
As the state of Kuwait celebrates its 59th Independence Day and the 29th Liberation Day, the country has approved its stability and power throughout all the past years. At the beginning of the 17th century, Kuwait was established as a small state. However, with the passage of time at the end of the 18th century, Kuwait's position began to flourish and became a major trading point and boat-building point. In 1756, Al-Sabah family took up the power to rule Kuwait, making Kuwait gain its independence on June 19, 1961, at the era of the late Emir of Kuwait, Sheikh Abdullah Salim al-Sabah, to end the Protectorate treaties Kuwait signed with Britain in 1899. Kuwait celebrated its first Independence Day on June 19, 1962. However, the National Day of Kuwait has been changed to be dated 25th February since 1963 until our current day. Sheikh Abdullah Salem played a major and important role that led to Kuwait's independence, as he is considered the leading person for the democracy life in the country. Kuwait was the first Arab state in the Arabian Gulf era to establish a constitution and parliament. Kuwait then was in full control of the domestic post service on February 1st, 1958, and exactly a year later it took control of external post services. It was in 1959 when Sheikh Abdullah Salem instructed the wording of the citizenship law. On October 19, 1960, Kuwait monetary law was issued and national currency, the Kuwaiti dinar, was circulated on April 1, 1961, as ordered by the late Emir Sheikh Abdullah Salem. Shaping the state began immediately following the independence, as an Emiri decree was issued defining the flag. Afterwards, Kuwait applied for the membership of the Arab League, which was accepted on July 16, 1961, then an official state joining the United Nations on May 7, 1963, to become the 111th member state of the UN. On the state's democratic level, Sheikh Abdullah Salem called on August 26, 1961, for holding general elections for a constituent assembly mandated with writing the Constitution. Addressing the first session of the Constituent Assembly on January 20, 1962, Sheikh Abdullah Salem said the Declaration of Independence was a gateway for freedom and dignity. Then the Assembly finalized the Constitution in 9 months, and the late Emir ratified the 183-article document on November 11, 1962.
Ambassadors from across the globe sent messages to the government and people of the state of Kuwait on the occasion of the 59th anniversary of independence and the 29th anniversary of liberation. Their excellences also expressed their warm feelings towards the country and spoke about the bilateral relations between their nation and the state of Kuwait. Here's more with Saleh Al-Ubaidi.
On the occasion of the National and Liberation Days of the State of Kuwait, ambassadors from across the globe have congratulated the government and people of the State of Kuwait on the 59th anniversary of independence and the 29th anniversary of liberation. They also spoke about the bilateral relations between their countries and the State of Kuwait.
On the occasion of the National and Liberation Days, the British people are with the people of Kuwait in celebrating these great events. Side by side, many, many years. Last year we marked 120 years since the signing of the Treaty of Friendship between Britain and Kuwait, and we continue to work together in so many different areas and develop, broaden and deepen our cooperation for the next generation as well.
I would like to extend our warmest congratulations to Kuwait and its beloved people for its celebrations commemorating its independence in 1961 and liberation in 1991. Wishing Kuwait continuous prosperity, stability and development under the wise leadership of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Subah Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Subah. May God bless and protect him.
It's a privilege to extend sincere congratulations to His Highness the Amir, the government and the people of Kuwait. I want to wish the Amir continued good health and peace and prosperity, stability in Kuwait and the sub-region. Sierra Leone is a friend. We invite you all, investors, go and visit Sierra Leone and explore the vast potential we have in Sierra Leone. I thank you and hope to see you again next year, inshallah.
I warmly congratulate His Highness Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, Emir of the State of Kuwait, His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, Crown Prince, His Highness Sheikh Sabah Al Khaled Al Hamad Al Sabah, Prime Minister of the State of Kuwait, to the government and to the people of Kuwait on the occasion of the National and Liberation Day. I am convinced that our two countries boast great potential on the way of developing mutually beneficial cooperation in all spheres, political, economical, commercial, scientific as well. The government of the Slovak Republic and the Embassy of the Slovak Republic to Kuwait is ready to build on the existing bilateral ties of partnership as well as to raise them for the benefit of our peoples. I wish to His Highness the robust health and every success as well as lasting peace of well-being to the friendly people of Kuwait.
On behalf of government people of Republic of Albania, it's my honor to extend to His Highness the Emir of the State of Kuwait, Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmad Al Jaber Al Sabah, my sincere congratulations and best wishes on the auspicious occasion of National Day and Liberation Day of the State of Kuwait. This year, we mark our 51st anniversary of our diplomatic relation, and I strongly believe that through our very good cooperation, we will continue to strengthen our excellent, friendly bilateral relation in benefit of both countries and people. On this historical occasion of National and Liberation Day of the State of Kuwait, again, I wish to congratulate leadership, government, people of Kuwait, and wish you all a happy, blessed celebration.
The Kuwaiti Ministry of Health announced today that 3 Kuwaiti citizens were infected with the coronavirus, rising the number of confirmed cases of the new coronavirus infection in the country to 8 cases so far. Meanwhile, the ministry urged all citizens and residents to abide by the safety regulations relating to public health. The Kuwaiti Ministry of Education also affirmed its keenness to take all precautionary measures regarding the new coronavirus, in cooperation and coordination with the Ministry of Health. Additionally, the ministry launched awareness campaigns for children, students, and teachers after the end of national holidays, calling on the masses of citizens, residents, and parents not to pay attention to any rumors or rumors that would cause fear and panic among people, and rely on channels and approved official sources. That's it for tonight. Join us again next week for more weekly news highlights.